Hello and welcome to a unique episode of RayJ Reviews. Today you're going to get a look at the Bond Arms manufacturing facility in Granbury, Texas. The Bond Arms manufacturing facility is located in Granbury, Texas, which is a little bit south and west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They've been around since 1995, and their primary product has been Derringers. Now they took a unique approach and made some improvements on the standard Derringer to make them more reliable, higher build quality, safer, and so forth. They also have recently added to their line a semi-automatic bullpup style handgun in 9mm, I believe, which is really unique. Never heard of a bullpup handgun before. From the images, you can see the guns are very nicely crafted. When you hold them in your hands and operate them, they definitely have a high build quality, very high standard manufacturing. The facility is kind of unique in that you've got a combination of robotics to do initial work on the frames, and then people do some hand work on the frames to finish them. And that's the first time I've ever seen robots in a small facility like this. At Bond Arms, they've taken an approach of ensuring very high quality, so that they have a setup process which is very well controlled, which includes the standardized manufacturing steps, making the castings, inspecting them, polishing them by first with a robot, then by hand. Then things get assembled in a special area, which is kept clean and separate from the other areas. And then it goes into QA to make sure all the functions and features are there and everything works and it's cosmetically good and everything. I was very interested to see everything there. I was impressed with the build quality and the variety and range, especially since what they mostly make is just Derringers. A unique thing that I learned while I was there is about this gun that you'll see in this picture that I'm holding in my hand. It is serial number JW001. It was used in the John Wick 3 movie, I believe in one of the first scenes where he shoots the gun. And I thought that was pretty cool because I love movies and guns and all that stuff. But the company has a lot of good history to it, very interesting, and a lot of unique aspects about the company. But rather than me tell you, I was fortunate enough to get a tour by the owner of the company, Gordon Bond, and he also sat down with me and told me a lot about the company. So now you get to hear from him yourself.
So when my brother was the least likely guy to graduate high school, and so we didn't know if he was going to make it or not. He had one goal in high school, and one kid always beat him on this reaching this particular goal he had, and that was to get the most whippings. And so he was pretty determined that way. But amazingly enough, he went to college at North Texas State University. He got an industrial arts degree. After the degree, he went home to live with mom, and so the only manufacturing facility around that area was a toolbar maker for tractors. And so this toolbar, you put the seeders and feeders and everything else. He was going there to get a welding job. The only thing they had was a tool and die maker job. And so he took it not knowing what that was, fell in love working with metal, went through a 6-year apprenticeship as a tool and die maker at this facility, then decided to go back to Texas Tech and get his mechanical engineering degree. And so then going through that, he graduated magna cum laude. And so for a guy that we didn't think was going to make it out of high school, once he found his calling, there he went. So anyway, he went to work for TI, made the Harms missile, like I was mentioning to you, and his job solely was to take what the engineers did and make it work. And then he got a bite on being able to work at a gun manufacturer, which truly was his main goal in life, was work at a gun manufacturer. And he went there. He improved the process, made it more efficient. Then after 8 months, they fired him. And so he he went, you know, a lot of these businesses start in garages. Well, he didn't have a garage, it was a rental house. And so he sat down with his wife at their kitchen table and said, you know what, I think I could design a better product. And so he spent the next year and a half designing what we know as Bond Arms now. And so you know, having no money, no shop, no machines, no facilities, nothing, he would literally go to machine shop after machine shop and ask them if he could cut metal for them so that he could cut metal to make guns. And so that's basically how he got started, because I mean, it was literally no money at all. So he got his first guns built, and he was going to go to SHOT Show, and he called me up and he said, well, my 23-year-old Toyota Corolla that has 250,000 miles on it isn't going to make it to Vegas. Can you drive it? So I volunteered and I drove him. And then I said, well, you're going to have a booth. Do you have a banner? And he just sort of looked at me like, no. So anyway, this is the first banner that we did. And actually,
yeah, I got started that earlier, so yeah.
And if you'll notice, look closely, that's duct tape. So if you're going to do it the Texas way.
Yeah, it is.
We found this in the attic when we moved over to this new building.
Wow.
So anyway, that's the quick history of Bond Arms.
No kidding.
The first 8 years was poverty level income. They could barely give the guns away. After 9/11, people started wanting to protect themselves, so the orders started coming in. We started getting phone calls from the cowboy action shooters, and they'd call up and say, hey, I just won the world championship with your gun. And we're going, there's a world championship for Derringers? And we've actually won it 20 years in a row, men's and women's competition over all these years. So anyway, that's sort of the humble beginnings of Bond Arms. With an 1/8 inch Allen wrench, and just open up the barrel, 6 spins, and we've got 40 different barrels and 20 different calibers you can switch out that easy. And so just real easy to you know, have one gun, and that was his original design, have one gun with many different barrels. But we have customers that'll buy, this is my 13th Bond, this is my 20th Bond. And just to show you a couple of those features, it does have a crossbolt safety, which totally blocks the hammer. But the big safety is the rebounding and locking hammer. To get the hammer to go forward, I actually had to pull the trigger and push it. Then it'll jump back and it'll lock in a half-cocked position, so you don't have to remember to do that. Because guns like this in the past, when the hammer's like this, that means it's pushing a firing pin into the breech, which means it's touching the primer. And if you drop the gun, slam the barrel down too hard, you could actually have an accidental discharge. So this always jumps back and locks in that half-cocked position. The locking lever used to be over here, and you had to swing it 180 degrees and then open the barrel, close it, and then flip the lever back. He made it really easy to manipulate with just a spring-loaded, and it locks like a vault. So just really nice. Plus, first one to ever put a trigger guard on this type of gun. And it's all heavy duty. These are our polished models. The new Rough Series guns, which some of you probably have heard of, are really good price point guns. A lot of our high polished or Cerakoted guns are $500, $600, $700. The Roughneck is a $269 price point. 9mm or 45 ACP. The Rowdy, which is the step up and you get the 2.5 inch 410 or 45 long Colt, is $299. And those have just gone crazy because it's your tackle box gun. I mean, it's the one you can rough and tumble. A lot of people, they see this and they go, oh, wow, I don't want to hurt it, don't want to scratch it, you know. But those, the Rough Series guns, that's exactly what they're made for, is the rough and tumble. That's good. Then our next, excuse me, our next step up is going to be our Stinger, which we should have hopefully by the end of the year. We've been overwhelmed with orders for the Rough Series, so it slowed us down. But you can actually see how thin that is. And so this gun weighs about 23 ounces. This one comes in at 12 ounces. And so this is a machined aluminum frame with a stainless steel barrel. And it's 9mm. We'll have it in several different handgun calibers where you can interchange those barrels. And this one should come in with a MSRP at about $350. And so the feedback we're hearing right now, you know, if you've seen it, if you see this too early, you're going to go, how soon are they going to come out with that? But it should be here first quarter of 2021. But just a really easy to conceal gun, still a really decent caliber with a 9mm, and that's called the Stinger.
Well, that's all I have for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to this channel and watch other episodes. And go check out Bond Arms product line if you're at a gun show or at a gun store somewhere. I think you'll be impressed. But most important, I hope you can get out and enjoy life.